Hey everybody, welcome to Players Code Talks Wrestling again. Welcome back. I want to apologize first off the bat. One, this video is probably going to be out late again. I have a good excuse this time, except for just being lazy. I have come down with the flu, uh, courtesy of my girlfriend, and so I'm sick. But that will not stop me from putting out this. Luckily, because it's basically just me sitting on my ass and reading a bunch of stuff off to you. So that's where we're gonna do it. I'm gonna cover Payback, Raw, and SmackDown. So this might be a little longer episode. Probably won't be too much longer though. I don't think I'll spend too much time on everything. Would like to go sleep at some point. So Payback, June 1st. The pre-show match: Hornswoggle versus El Torito, hair versus mask. I actually watched this, but it wasn't really a match as much as it was kind of just these two guys chasing each other on the ring, doing a few maneuvers. Nothing really spent, fantastic. 3MB got involved. The Melos Matadores got involved. Everybody kind of had a spot. There was big spots where guys were jumping off the top turnbuckle onto the group of guys on the floor. So everybody got a little bit of a turn. So the ending comes up and Hornswoggle pulls off El Torito's mask, but he's wearing another mask underneath. Fucking shout out to Sting, am I right? The announcers keep selling that uh, like Hornswoggle forgot the rules or something like that because he thought he had won, I guess. But Torito hits the bull salt, and then they shave Hornswoggle's head. So not as cool as the WLC match, but it was okay. Nice little opener. Up next, Sheamus and Cesaro for the U.S. title. I was really unsure about this coming in of who was going to walk out champion. Heyman comes out to introduce Cesaro, and they get a very loud Punk chants, and Heyman, and this is why they had this match first, was because they wanted Paul Heyman to go out there and kind of diffuse the crowd, because they're in Chicago, and CM Punk is from Chicago. In case you didn't know, so he gets really loud Punk chants, and Heyman basically says he's not here, he's 18 miles away watching the Blackhawks hockey game. Background in case you don't watch hockey: Blackhawks and LA Kings were playing Game 7. Winner would advance to the Stanley Cup. The Blackhawks ended up losing in overtime. So, eh. So, but no, they like this. It's a good idea to send Heyman out there to start the show because he can handle that. He can handle a crowd just fine. So, good match, very back and forth. Both guys look strong. Anticlimactic ending though, because Sheamus ended up winning with a small cradle. So he basically rolled Cesaro up, and it was done so that neither guy had to lose clean. So basically Cesaro still looks strong. Sheamus still looks strong, but they didn't have to put the belt. They didn't have to take the belt off of Sheamus this early. So it was a good way for both guys to look strong in the match and have the finish make them continue to have them both look strong, even though it was a really anticlimactic ending to a pretty decent match. I mean, these guys can brawl, so it was okay. Um, Apparently Cesaro is there's talks of. I'm not actually going to cover rumors this week because everything's just really convoluted and it's nothing concrete. We haven't seen anything on the TV that have really kind of given us that. So I'm not going to cover any of the really more far fetched rumors. So sorry. Up next, you got the Rhodes Brothers versus Rybaxel. We again, I the Usos are on this show, but they don't compete in a tag match. So the tag titles have once again, for the second pay-per-view in a row, the tag titles have not been defended. They gave Dean Ambrose shit. At least, even though he won by disqualification, or you got to keep the belt via disqualification, at least he fucking defended the title every once in a while. 2 months in a row. 2 months. 9 months, yeah, whatever. Not as long as Ambrose has gone without defending the title before he lost it, but still. On the pre-show, there was footage of the Rhodes Brothers talking about that this is where the Brotherhood was born and this is where it'll begin again. So basically, the Brotherhood ends tonight. And it actually not in the way you think, though. Pretty good tag match. Yeah, sucks that whatever's happening is going on with the Usos is happening because these are pretty good teams. Um, Ryback and Curtis Axel have actually come together to form a pretty decent tag team. So that's always nice to see. And the Rhodes brothers are just good. Cody's a good athlete, and so is Goldust. So it was nice to watch two tag teams work well together. Ryback catches Cody off the disaster kick and hits Shell Shock for the win. And then after the match, Cody gets the mic and says Goldust needs a better partner than him and walks out. So basically, Cody Rhodes blames himself for the team losing, and basically says his brother, you need a better tag partner than me. And I'll get to more of it. They have a match on Raw. Goldust and Sin Cara, because Cody Rhodes picks Sin Cara to be Goldust's partner. I'll get to that more. I'll get to that angle more when I get to that part. But kind of interesting. It was a nice way to have the Rhodes brothers be broken up, but at the same time not have Cody turn on Goldust and make it a feud. It's refreshing to not have the two guys hate each other right away. Rusev versus Big E. Just a couple highlights. This match was pretty short. It was like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes long, so better than the 15-second squashes we've been getting, but still a pretty short match. Big E hit a awesome spear through the middle rope. Rusev was on the apron, and Big E comes flying through the middle rope and spears him to the floor and goes out with him. It was impressive for a couple of 300-pound big dudes. I mean, it was fucking impressive. It was really awesome. They both get back to the ring. Rusev hits the super kick and the accolade. So, like I said, 5-minute match. Neither guy really looked, it wasn't anything special. But Big E definitely had the spot of the match with that fucking spear. It was awesome. Still kind of bored with Rusev. We're getting there, though. That was good. I like that. It's a sign that maybe we'll start getting some good matches, not squashes, out of him. But it's a move in the right direction. Oh God, this. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna go through the segment. What happened? Not really segment. It was a segment actually. So I'm gonna go through what happened. I'm gonna let you guys think for a couple seconds, and then I'm gonna explain it. So we find out on the pre-show that Kofi Kingston has to take on Bo Dallas in a match tonight. No reason. No, sorry. I hate to say that because there is a reason, but I'm not gonna tell you yet. So the crowd is a little more receptive towards Bo. I think they're starting to kind of figure out what the gimmick is. I did like that Jerry Lawler was questioning why Bo, who just came up to the main roster, is on a pay-per-view so soon. Kind of nice. Bo cuts a promo dissing the Blackhawks for some cheap heats. Bell rings, and Kane comes out. Bo gets out of the ring, and Kane proceeds to destroy Kofi. Bo comforts Kofi after the match by grabbing a mic and saying, "You'll be better and back. You'll be better, back and better than ever." Sorry, words. Back and better than ever than if you just believe. Gives him the thumb, the smile, and the walks out. So, guys, I want you guys to sit on that. I'm gonna give you like maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Just sit on that for a minute. No, go ahead. Think. Yep. So, you ready to hear the reason? We find out after Kofi's been destroyed that he had sent out tweets that were critical of how Stephanie McMahon is treating Daniel Bryan and the World Heavyweight Championship. Yep. So, not only is Kofi getting squished because of shit he said on Twitter, we didn't find that out until after Kofi had the shit kicked out of him. So Kane comes out. No fucking reason for Kane to be out there. We don't know why he's out there. And no, I'm not calling him the Demon Kane. Fucking refuse to do that. I hate that. But this was the most pointless thing in the world. Because I bet you, and I can tell you right now, Kofi wasn't on Raw. Actually, wait, I think he might have been. But there was nothing special about Kofi being on Raw. He didn't go. There was no segment about him going after Stephanie McMahon or talking to Daniel Bryan or anything. This was literally just to fill time and maybe to put Bo Dallas on the pay-per-view. I don't really know why he needs to be on the pay-per-view, so I'm gonna go with the former. This was literally just to fill space, and it was bullshit. It was absolutely fucking pointless. probably the one black mark on this pay-per-view, I think. Because the rest of this, I remember you guys, if you listened to the show, I bitched about Payback coming up in the lead up to Payback. I was not. This was gonna be a piece of shit pay-per-view. This pay-per-view was actually really good, except for that fucking pointless moment right there. That might be the one black mark on this pay-per-view. Really good. Now you know how it ends, so you just turn the damn show off, I suppose. But anyway, you got BNB, Bad News Barrett, versus RVD for the Intercontinental title. The crowd is into it with dueling chants. The crowd was into it. Not a bad match. I stand by my opinion, though, that RVD just needs to be done. That's exactly it. And I say it's not that he was bad in this match. It was just that there are other guys who could be in his spot, and it would be a better match. Oh, excuse me. And I stand by that. RVD I know is one of probably end up in the Hall of Fame, especially for all the stuff he did in ECW and how great he was back then and his early run in WWE. He just can't do it now. It's just not the same level. Sorry. I mean, think about all the guys that are left on the bench for him to step in. It's just, yeah, it's nice to have the name and the star power when you're trying to put together the pay-per-view. But there's a lot of guys who probably could do better in that spot. And maybe I'm wrong, Maybe I think too highly of the WWE mid-card. But, yeah, still a good match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just, I don't know. I feel like I shit on RVD too much. Barrett wins with the bullhammer, in case you really thought Rob Van Dam was going to take the title after no build for this match at all. So yeah, moving on, we get the Daniel Bryan decision. Brie and Daniel Bryan come out along with Stephanie, and they exchange some words. Now Bryan is actually cutting a promo. He's giving a speech, and the loud CM Punk chants come back, and Bryan actually kind of ends up goes, what the fuck do I do? He's got that look of, I don't know what to do here. Stephanie comes in and makes the save with a beautiful, basically she says, you hear that, Bryan? They want you to quit just like CM Punk did. It was the most and it shut him up. It shut him up hard. And it was a beautiful save by Stephanie McMahon. So I gotta give props to Stephanie. That was awesome. Because Bryan really looked like didn't know where he was gonna go. He would look like, for lack of a better terms, I think I saw it on Reddit, it was goat in the headlights. He froze. Not to give Daniel Bryan shit when you've got an entire, arena chanting some guy's name who, especially a guy like CM Punk, it can be frustrating, right? Or disorientating, I think. So that happens. Bree kind of looks at Daniel and says, "We both know it needs to be done, Daniel." And Bree says, "I'm not going to be a victim or a pawn." So she quits before, Stephanie fires her. Therefore, and slaps the shit out of Stephanie. She gives her a hell of a slap. And then, so therefore, that kind of gets rid of Stephanie. Then ends up running to the back, and Bryan kind of stands tall. He's still champion, so there's more on that on Raw. We'll get to that. Next up, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. This has to probably be the second best match of the night, which makes sense because it's not the second to last match of the night, but this is probably the second best match of the night. I do admit I was slightly bored at the beginning of this match because I feel like last man standing matches have lost a lot of their luster since the PG era really started. But they still did some really cool stuff. God, the amount of cell phones that people hold up when Bray Wyatt comes out is awesome. It's such a cool image to see. So he comes out with Luke and Harper. Yeah, Rowan and Harper. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I get confused with their names sometimes. And they're basically looking like they're gonna beat down Cena, but the Usos come out, run in, and battle with them. There's actually a couple good spots here. One was one of the Usos doing like almost like the Rikishi butt splash not stink face, but where he'd run and he'd turn and he'd splash into you. He did that to Harper or Rowan through a table. That was pretty awesome. And then Luke Harper superplexed the other Uso off the top rope through 2 tables. So they were basically done. Those guys took each other out pretty quick, which made this a nice even match. Bray does some work with the steel steps. He gets in a couple shots. The reason I'm kind of going over the spots is because in a last minute standing match, it's kind of what you're there to watch. You can't really just say, oh, it was a good match or oh, it was a bad match. You kind of want to cover what happened because these are a bit kind of a different case. Doesn't work. Cena goes through a table, which was interesting. So Cena goes to the table. Probably the best spot of the night, and possibly the scariest spot of the night, was this one where John Cena literally picks up the steel steps. John Cena's inside the ring with the steel steps. Bray Wyatt is outside the ring. Cena hurls the steps out and hits Bray right in the face. I mean, he gets his hands up, but he hits him right in the goddamn face. And it was probably one of the more dangerous spots because you put something heavy like that in the air, and I don't care how good you are, how well you protect yourself, that's gonna fucking hurt. So kudos for Bray for taking that, because that looked like it. He cut his elbow open on that, and it looked like that one hurt some. Might have been a little shook. It was fucking. I think I wrote he might have killed him. Rowan and Harper return and drop Cena while helping Bray to his feet, but the Usos return as well. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I got mixed up. The Uso Harper Rowan spots happen when they come back out to the ring. The first time they just beat each other up to the back. So Bray runs Cena and himself through a barricade, and they continue battling. They battle their way through the crowd down back to where the pyro's at, and Cena hits an AA through like an equipment carrier. It was almost like plywood, almost. And then he pushes another one of those equipment carriers on top of the one that Bray is in, basically trapping Bray, and he gets the 10 count. Good match. I should have expected Cena to win. I kind of hoped Bray would, but at the same time, I should have expected Cena to win. Like I said, not a bad match. I really don't like that last man standing matches have devolved into how can I trap my opponent, or how can I keep my opponent from getting up without actually immobilizing him, like where Del Rio and Big Show had one where Big Show's feet were duct taped to the ropes and he couldn't get up, or this one where Bray was basically trapped. I think that kind of leads to the PG era again, where you can't do as much, and without color, it's hard to get across how badly beaten these guys are. I mean, yeah, you can obviously watch it and say, "Oh my God, they've taken some chair shots or whatever," but it's hard to do it. I really don't like how kind of cheap some of these last man standing endings feel. Still a good match though. Very obviously last man standing, so it's very spot heavy, but it was a good match, and I don't give Cena props very often. So good match from both of these guys. Still love Bray Wyatt. Paige versus Alicia Fox for the Divas title. Not a bad match, but not a good match either. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're making Paige out to be kind of weak, which is weird because, and I've almost come to the conclusion that creative just doesn't care enough about the Divas title to really put a lot of thought into it. Because Paige looked weak against Alicia Fox when they first had a match, even though she did get jumped. But still, she looked weak there. She looked weak and lost to Alicia Fox 2 weeks ago on Raw. And then, and didn't look too strong in this match either. I mean, it's a weird, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But it just seems like creative it just seems like they don't care enough to really make it decent, But Paige wins with the inverted scorpion crosslock. I finally got to remember the name. And Fox kind of just runs off to the back crying after her loss. It's weird segment. Not even a segment, weird match. I don't know why I keep saying segment. But no, weird. Just this whole Alicia Fox Paige thing has been really weird. And then it's like Alicia Fox ate a pin from Emma on the Go Home show of Raw. So Alicia Fox wasn't made out to be much of a threat. I mean, yeah, she'd beaten Paige, but she'd lost to Paige, lost to somebody else. I can't remember who. She lost 2 matches in a row, beat Paige on Raw, and then lost to Emma on Raw. Now, not to discredit Emma, but it's not much of a threat when you lose just a couple days before the pay-per-view. So, hey, at least there's no total diva shit. So, I don't have to bitch about that. All right. Best match of the night. As I said, Cena and Wyatt was second best. This was the best match of the night. The Shield vs. Evolution no holds barred elimination match. First things first, you get Orton coming out in his black trunks and his gear. Triple H comes out in his gear, black gear. Batista comes out in blue shoulder pad, blue elbow pads, blue trunks, blue boots. It's like, I mean, apparently he's starting that press stuff for the Guardians of the Galaxy early because he came out completely blue. It was fucking hysterical. And then Twitter even picked up Blue Tista. So it was great. It was fucking hysterical. It was really weird. I don't know. I don't get it. But the ball breaks down before the match even settles. They actually kind of do get it into like the tag format. And at one point, Triple H and Roman Reigns are in the ring at the same time. And they kind of just circle each other eye to eye, very heavily teasing the Roman Reigns Triple H feud that I think we're all going to get here pretty soon. Rollins in the ring. He hit the 3 amigos, the 3 suplexes, the 3 vertical suplexes. Crowd loves it. The commentators even called out Eddie Guerrero. That was a cool little spot. Evolution takes out Reigns and Ambrose up by the top of the stage with chairs. They just beat the shit out of the 2 guys, and then they come in the ring. Now this, I would say, like I gave spot of the night to John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Because this was like the most uncomfortable spot of the night. Because what happens is they come back to the ring. They've got the steel steps in the ring. They take off Roman's vest and shirt, so he's topless from he's got no top. And they beat him and they lay him over the steel steps, and they proceed to cane the ever living shit out of Roman Reigns. It seemed like Triple H was the only one like hitting the steps versus like hitting Roman, but Batista and Orton seemed like they just laid into it. And if you looked at his back afterwards, that dude was nasty looking. And it was really uncomfortable to watch these 3 guys like almost crucify Roman Reigns. It was fucking uncomfortable as hell. But I mean it was a cool spot, but at the same time, very fucking uncomfortable. So they actually go back up the ramp, and Rollins disappears and reappears on top of not the big Titantron, but they had like that mini rounded screen that they have. He's on top of that and jumps down onto everybody. And so everybody kind of crawls back to the ring. Rollins eliminates Batista after Reigns hits a spear on him. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds on Orton on a chair to get that elimination. And then Rollins hits Blackout and then a Reigns spear, and Reigns pins Triple H for the win. Weird pacing. The beginning of this match was kind of weird. It's like they kind of forgot that this was like a no holds barred match almost for the first chunk, because after the brawl they kind of actually settled into tagging and shit for a little while until it broke back down again. But also, and even the commentators kind of noticed that it's like, well, Batista's been eliminated, but Batista then hit a spear on, I think, Ambrose, or he hit a spear on one of the Shield members after he had been eliminated. Excuse me. He had hit a spear on one of the members after eliminated, and even the announcers are like, well, wait a minute, he's not supposed to be here. He's eliminated. Get him out of here. And my thought process during this entire match was, if it's a no-holds-barred match, the ref can't disqualify anybody. So, what the fuck stops the eliminated members from just staying at ringside? and staying in the match. Like, obviously, the match would end if the last guy got pinned, but what stops him from staying there and causing havoc? Nothing. But good, good morals. You know, it's like what I just it didn't make any sense. So, um, I guess the same reason as if the ref kicks you out of ringside, what stops you from coming back? Um, except in that case, he could probably disqualify the guy you're with. But in this case, that wasn't a problem. So weird kind of deal. But anyway, yeah, match of the night, great match, weird pacing. Really happy that the Shield stood tall on that one. They beat Evolution back to back, which anybody who wants to complain about Triple H not putting people over or complain about Batista. I mean, the dude tapped out at WrestleMania to Daniel Bryan. He ate the pin for the loss at Extreme Rules, and he was the first one eliminated here at Payback. So you can't say Batista's not a company man. So yeah, it was a good, like I said, good pay-per-view. Good pay-per-view. Not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be atrocious. But no, it actually really was pretty good. Like I said, one black spot, but a good match. So, now we move on to Raw the next night. 6/2, June 2nd. Fuck, I'm already 26 minutes in. Alright, so, Triple H wants to continue the war with the Shield. They open up in Evolution to the ring. Basically, guys, Batista's like, I want my title shot. I want my one-on-one title shot that I was promised. Triple H says nobody's getting anything until the Shield is dead and gone. Basically saying we're gonna fight until we win. Batista then goes, "Oh, all right, I quit then," and walks out. Obviously, he's leaving to go do Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was really interesting. It was kind of a bright spot for everybody in the beginning. It's like, oh man, the Evolution's crumbled. We watched it before our very eyes. It was like, oh, it was awesome. So good opener. A nice way to open the show. Up next, we get Wade Barrett versus Cesaro, Wade Barrett and Cesaro versus RVD and Sheamus. Not a bad match, but I'm not sure where they're going with it. Heyman saves Cesaro from a brogue kick, and they both walk out on Barrett, who eats the 5-star for the loss. A lot of people say that everybody could kind of get involved in the Intercontinental. Like Cesaro might end up involved in the Intercontinental title hunt. Also, and like I said, I'm not talking about unsubstantiated rumors. There's a rumor that Cesaro and Brock Lesnar are going to go, but that's unsubstantiated. But there is talk that most likely Cesaro is going to be in the Money in the Bank and will most likely win it. So we'll see how that goes. But this was kind of a weird pairing. I've never been a big fan of enemy of my enemy is my friend tag team matches. It's, I've never been impressed. Damian Sandow comes out dressed as Lance Stevenson. He's a player for the Pacers, if you don't know, because I fucking didn't. I'm not a big basketball guy. But anyway, cheap Pacer fan heat because obviously, again, you don't know, Pacers lost to the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat advanced to the NBA Finals. Here comes the big show. I wrote, "Oh, how I love filler." So we're back on Raw to having more filler to fill our 3-hour show when we really don't need 3 hours of fucking content. Sandow challenges Show to score a basket because they have a b-ball hoop in the ring. Why wouldn't they? Show just hits Sandow with the ball and then dunks it and walks out. No words. Nothing of substance. Just filler. I fucking hate this show sometimes. I fucking hate it sometimes, man. There are guys in the back who can wrestle on a wrestling show. It's weird, I know. But fucking Christ. Anyway, sorry, I was wrong. Kofi is on Raw. I said maybe we'll actually get a match this time. Bo comes out and cuts a promo about the Heat and the Pacers. Man, this horse is already dead and we were 45 minutes into the show. So they beat that shit to death real quick. I gotta admit, I do enjoy how dedicated Bo is to his persona, to the motivational speaker and the shit like that. I love that he'll like win one move exchange and then roll out of the ring and do a lap. Says like I'm winning or I'm wearing him down. It's it's really nice to see a character so devoted to his gimmick, and he does it well, and that's really awesome. So I'm really actually kind of enjoy Bo Dallas. He does a great job of making the fans dislike him, but that's what he's out there to do. Although he did kind of botch the Bo Dog a little bit. Not a bad match. Could have been better. I think it was too short. I think I would have wished these guys could have gone a little longer, maybe to see just a little bit more. But and you gotta love Bo's victory lap at the end. It was good. It was good. So I'm starting to like Bo Dallas more and more. Next up we got Stephanie. She comes out and she says she has an announcement. She says, and apparently it's been found out that Daniel Bryan, his rehab is going slower than they expected. He's actually losing strength in his arm than gaining. So he's getting some more opinions and whatnot. So basically, their contingency plan is if Bryan can't compete. If Bryan can compete at Money in the Bank at the end of June, he will compete against Kane in a stretcher match. Whoop-de-fucking do. But if he can't, then the Money in the Bank match will be for the World Heavyweight Championship. And before I get to the next section, I will discuss this. It's a good plan. I almost would rather see Bryan, and I know it's it's not. I don't know if it's blasphemy anymore, but and it pains me to say this at least, that I'd almost rather see Bryan lose the belts and see the Money in the Bank match for the titles, because it's a great way. Could be a great way to make a new champion without having it to worry about looking strong, looking weak, cutting Bryan's run short. I would almost be okay with them putting those belts up there for the Money in the Bank match, because I don't fucking want to see a stretcher match between Kane and Daniel Bryan. I just don't. I don't give a shit about that feud at all. I don't think anybody really does. So that's like, as much as we want Bryan to keep the belts, it'd be better for them to take them and then to have him fight his way back to them once he gets healthy. So I like, and that's, as far as I know, we haven't heard any updates, but it's not looking great for Bryan. Cena hits the ring. Bryan's brother-in-law, I guess, because John dates one Bella, Daniel married another Bella. I don't fucking know. I guess they're like brother-in-laws. I'm not sure. Anyway, the fans really let John have it, but John Cena actually does a really good job of rolling with the crowd this week. He's actually been doing a pretty good job of rolling with the crowd in general since they started acknowledging the Cena sucks and stuff like that. Calls Steph out for being a spoiled bitch, and Steph is also really good at playing off the crowd. I thought this was a really good angle because they're using John Cena to kind of build heat for Bryan, to kind of keep the crowd interested with Bryan. They're using Cena, who is basically like a heat magnet. You put him up against anybody, and fans are going to be interested because they want it. It's weird. Gotta stop doing that. But yeah, so I mean, it's a good. I like it. It's a brilliant angle. And so Stephanie says, "Oh well, for coming out and telling me, I'm a bitch. You have to fight Kane." They do a good job. I was gonna say, this is just kind of a general statement. They do a good job with the Cena promo. Last week, the one before his match with Bray Wyatt was good. This week his segment was good as well. And then they just do a shitty job of booking him. Because Kane just comes in and kicks the shit out of him, but refuses to stop dropping knees in the corner at the 5 count, so the ref has to disqualify him. So there's not even a match here. It's just Kane, beating up on John Cena until the ref disqualifies him. So John doesn't have to eat a pin of any kind or do anything. You just have to get beat up for like 2 minutes, and then Kane just, disqualifies him. Kane was going to destroy John Cena, but Cena fights back and actually does the throwing of the steel steps again and hits Kane. This time, obviously not as insane because he didn't have to throw it nearly as far, so he didn't put as much velocity on it. But still, we come to find out that Orton will take on Roman Reigns later in the night. We get Los Matadores versus McIntyre and Slater. Hornswoggle has an afro wig on after being shaved. Dorito pulls the wig off. Matadores win by roll-up. Really embarrassed to be a wrestling fan at moments like this. I know I've talked up El Torito and Hornswoggle, but it's gone on too long. Especially since it's not being taken serious. Since it's not anything serious. It's just it's terrible. It's a goofy. And that's the thing. I'm okay with there being comedic stuff because obviously you have to keep it. You can't be serious all the time. But this is too much. I don't see why we couldn't just have a normal feud with two little people. With, maybe a little comedy sprinkled in. But, and then the fact that Los Matadores and 3MB, like, this is all they're doing is El Torito and Hornswoggle. I mean, I guess. I guess it means being on TV, but it's just, it almost seems just like a burial of those two teams. So, I'm done talking about it. Nikki Bella versus Alicia Fox and Oksana. So this is punishing Brie, or basically punishing Nikki because Brie quit. Thank God, at least it has nothing to do with Total Divas. That's all that matters to me. 45-second match. Fox hits an axe kick for the pin. Fox then does the crazy bitch thing. Fox and Oksana beat on Nikki after the match. Pretty much beat her ass all. So, yeah, that was it. It wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't even really a match. So, Fucking, my headphones are going crazy. We get the Wyatt cut, and Bray is missing. So Harper takes over. Man, that guy can actually talk pretty well. I'm actually pretty impressed with his promo. Basically says we're going to take up his cause and continue the fight and all that good stuff. So, and basically say the Usos are next to fall and all that. So basically, it looks like Roman and Harper are finally going to get their tag team push, which is nice. Really creepy, kind of just these two guys standing around an empty rocking chair. We get the Real Americans in the ring with Zeb saying Adam Rose should be deported and all that. Basically, Zeb being Zeb. I can't tell if the fans are starting to like Rose or not, although they are starting to sing the theme and cheer for him a little bit. So it's maybe they're starting to find him useful. Jack Swagger versus Adam Rose. Rose delivers some hard-hitting ass slaps to Swagger. Very homoerotic style that Rose has, and not that I have any problems with it. I was just commenting. Just kind of it fits the character, but it's just interesting. The fans chant CM Punk during this. Not too bad a match, kind of short, but nothing fantastic. Rose hits the party foul. Almost looked like Swagger was going for like a back suplex. If you know what I mean, not the German, but the one where he's got his arm over your head, the backdrop suplex, I think. And he looked like he was going for that, and then Rose kind of turned that into a party foul. So it was actually kind of an It looked good. So like I said, not a bad match, just kind of short. Usos do an interview promo. First time I've ever seen them do a team promo, not with John Cena, and it's actually not too bad. That's actually I think the first time I've ever heard them talk, except with that stupid humming chest beating shit that John Cena was doing a couple weeks ago. So yeah. Basically we get the Wyatt cut, the yacht, and no music, no nothing. Lights come back up, and Roman and Harper are in the ring. So I thought that was pretty creepy. And a nice way to kind of change up the entrance, obviously, since Bray isn't there. We get Usos versus Harper and Rowan. Very awkward match. The two teams don't seem to have a lot of chemistry taking each other on, and then the Usos seemed off as a team as well. Second half was a little better, if not more spotty. Roman wins with a nice side effect looking move. And I asked, are the Wyatts actually in the tag title hunt, or are they gonna go the route of Rybaxel and just kind of meander their way through the non-existent tag division? Um, Money in the Bank qualifier: Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio is one of the guys who will. One of the things I really like about Del Rio is he sets up for his finisher the whole match. He's working on the arm because his finisher is the cross arm breaker. So he sets up the whole match. Like he does a lot of arm holds. He focuses on the arm a lot of times. It's a nice thing to see when a guy has a submission for a finisher. It's nice to see him actually set that up the whole match. It's a nice little psychology thing. Del Rio makes Ziggler tap with the arm breaker and advances to Money in the Bank. Not a bad match, but nothing spectacular. But I talked about it earlier. Cody Rhodes had picked a tag partner for Goldie this week. Ryback's on Goldust versus Sin Cara. Weird choice. I still find it strange that Ryback was literally billed as having a tag team title shot, and it just went away for no reason. Not sure why. Good match. Ryback wins on the Curtis Axel pin. So, I mean, really nothing to report there. Yeah, I thought I had more on the Cody Rhodes thing, but I guess I don't. So we'll move on. Rusev comes out to accept a hero medal from the Russian government. Comes out in a suit. They had confetti, nice touch, but pretty much it's just a reason to stare at Lana. Had the idea that he should win the U.S. title and then rename it, but this segment, besides that thought, seemed fucking pointless. They say Bray Wyatt will be back on SmackDown. Come to the end of the show. This hurt, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that right now. I know I talk about this show outside of kayfabe, but this hurt. The Shield hits the ring and cuts the promo, and is awesome as always. Basically, they're talking about how the Shield weren't one. They didn't fight as one that night, and they weren't brothers. And at that point, you know something's going to go wrong. You know something has to go wrong. And I think actually my favorite part was Roman Reigns this week. And he goes, open hand, this is the Evolution. Closed fist, this is the Shield. So Randy Orton, bring your ass out here so I can break your jaw with a symbol of excellence. And then just tosses the mic over his shoulder. It was a fucking awesome mic drop. It was actually really, that kind of geeked out a little bit. Triple H comes out with Orton and a sledgehammer. So Rollins goes and gets some chairs to even the odds. Triple H basically comes out and says, don't you get it? I always get what I want. There's always a plan B. Seth Rollins then hits Roman Reigns with the chair. And Dean just looks fucking shocked. Like he, looked like somebody just killed his puppy. Really. And then he goes to take out Rollins, and Seth beats him down with a chair. And delivers the blackout onto the chair, and then gives the chairs to Evolution. They beat the shit out of Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. And I just said, fucking not like this, man. Not like this. Pretty lackluster show, all in all. Coming off the heels of a good pay-per-view, but the ending shocked the hell out of me, and I'm heartbroken. So, like I said, I know I talk about this show outside of kayfabe, but it's really hard to separate the business side of this one, like how does this affect everything? Is it a good choice for the show or not? Versus how much I love those three guys in the ring together: Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. It's been difficult, and that's a good thing. I want you guys to remember that is when professional wrestling can make you feel an emotion, make you feel something, they're doing something right. They've struck gold, because especially now that I'm older, and I would assume most of my listeners are older, obviously we're all kind of disillusioned with the fact that, well, it's all fake. It's all, predetermined and all of that. But even knowing that, and still going into this and being sad that Seth Rollins turned on his brothers. That means something. That means that they're doing something right. So I applaud the WWE, and I applaud whoever came up with this idea. Apparently, the decision was made like Sunday afternoon, before Payback, to turn Rollins. There is also a rumor that it was done because of how low the ratings for the Go Home show were. Not sure about that, but pretty much everybody says the decision was made Sunday afternoon before Payback to send Rollins to the dark side. But yeah, like I said, it was heartbreaking because you'd watch. Especially you guys maybe more, but I had watched these guys since before WrestleMania, and I loved them. They were awesome. They were great together. They had such great chemistry in the ring. All of them. Roman could use a little more work, but all of them are pretty good on the mic. Dean and Seth especially, and they were just like I said, they were brothers, and I actually felt something watching that turn. So good on the WWE for actually making me very jaded person feel something in connection. It was almost like when Daniel Bryan won the titles. It was that same kind of feeling of this. I know this isn't real. I know this is all scripted and whatnot, but at the same time, it feels awesome to finally see this guy who's worked so hard finally get his shot, and so yeah, it was yeah. So we'll cover SmackDown real quick. We're actually not too far over. So show starts off with Triple H coming out, and Seth Rollins comes out next to him. Nice "You Sold Out" chant from the crowd, obviously, because I'm not the only one who had that emotion. Trust me. Basically saying that, and they kind of telegraphed it, if you can call it that. I don't know if you can really calling it that, but basically they've been calling Seth Rollins the architect of the Shield for a while now. So you almost could see, and they kind of reference that, saying that it was Rollins who was responsible for the group that beat everybody, including Evolution. Rollins says, obviously you want to know why I did what I did to my brothers on Monday night. Basically says, like, I'm not going to tell you. The only person who knows is me, and the other person who needs to know is me. Dolph Ziggler hits the ring at this point. Not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why Dolph Ziggler hits the... He basically kind of references being buried by Triple H if he goes against him. Basically says, the Shield accomplished amazing things, but what Rollins did was worse than what the Shield has ever done to anybody, turning his back on his own brothers. And basically says Ziggler and Rollins will have a match. So I guess this match was fucking awesome. This is one of those matches that you should watch if you haven't, I guess. I haven't watched it, but from what I've heard from everybody, it was a good match because it was Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins. Two good workers. Triple H on commentary, building up Rollins. Ziggler goes for the Famouser, but Rollins throws him over his head, and the two roll through and get back up. And then Dolph actually hits the Famouser, but only got a 2 count. Ziggler hits a faceplant off the top rope. The crowd was totally into this match, totally into it. Rollins hits the blackout or peace of mind or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Michael Cole called it the curb stomp, so nobody really knows what to call this move. Because when he was Tyler Black in Ring of Honor, it was the blackout. Apparently here it's supposed to be peace of mind. But I've heard it called the curb stomp before as well. Triple H's music played after the pinfall, so they haven't gotten new music for Seth Rollins yet. Interesting. Renee interviewing Bad News Barrett. asked for his thoughts on the triple threat match tonight. Wasn't fair he had to defend his title against two men. And then he shits on Cesaro and calls RVD a flower child. And then Cesaro has fleas because he sleeps with a dog named Paul Heyman. You gotta love Bad News Barrett. You just imagine all those words I just said in a British accent. You gotta love Bad News Barrett. So apparently there's a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title between RVD and Cesaro. So, what the fuck happened to Sheamus? He's got a belt too, guys. You can keep two feuds going at once for two different belts. It is possible. Rollins and Triple H run into Orton backstage. That was kind of kinky. Basically says, "Welcome to the dark side." Rollins says, "Hey, I never left." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They run to the Big Show, and Show calls Rollins trash. And basically says, "I wish you would try that shit on me." And then Triple H makes a match between Show and Orton. I wouldn't mind Big Show kind of getting back into the fold. It's been a while since it's been around. The Usos have a match with Rybaxel, who are already in the ring, so you know that that's not a good sign. Short match, nothing special. The announcers put Rybaxel over, but the Usos win clean with a splash. That's not very good for a team's momentum, is to lose a match clean. Especially a heel tag team. They could have done something else there. That's not. Lana and Rusev. Xavier Woods is his opponent. Working the American hero, gets crushed. And a Russian flag comes down over the top of the ring while he's celebrating. That's new. I like that. That's new. That's nice. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Paul Heyman on commentary. And that means, yeah, he gets to fucking bitch with Michael Cole for the whole match. Barrett retains after hitting the bullhammer on RVD, who had hit Cesaro with a frog splash. Very good TV match, especially for SmackDown. So, possibly another one to go watch if you guys are interested in actually watching the shit I'm talking about. Bray Wyatt, who was teased as being on SmackDown, appears only by Titantron to deliver a promo, saying, "John Cena locked me in a box, and as I peered into the darkness, my memories began to haunt me." And cuts a promo, saying Abigail warned him that this would how things would go. So basically, yeah, there's nothing left to fear. I am reborn. Join me. And in death, you'll find you're basically a pretty creepy fucking promo from what I'm reading here. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would just, I can't do it the way Bray Wyatt does it. So go watch it if you want to see it. But, kind of feel a little shorter that they said Bray would appear on SmackDown and only appeared by Titantron. But I do like, before I go any further, because I only got a couple more things left, and really two things I could skip, because you've got a Divas match and then Santino and Emma, which I'm really fucking pissed off about. I thought they were done with that. But anyway, I like that they're giving Bray some time off. They're giving people a little bit of a break. Because I know some people were getting kind of tired of the whole world in his hands and the singing and all that shit. So I'm glad they're giving him a bit of a break. And they usually do that after kind of like a big match like Last Man Standing. So, anyway, Natalya versus Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox does her crazy bitch thing. Weird that this was coming off of Fox took control briefly. Natalya regained the advantage and ended up winning the match by pinfall. Really, and what's pissing me off is if you guys haven't watched NXT Takeover, the NXT special on the WWE Network, go watch it because it's fucking amazing. Every match is awesome, but especially the Charlotte versus Natalya match for the NXT Women's title. It is a technical masterpiece compared to other women's wrestling, even compared to some male wrestling. It is a technically sound, great match between two women wrestlers. It helps that they had Flair and Bret Hart at ringside, but these two had a great technical bout, and it was amazing. And then I get to come in here and watch, Paige versus Alicia Fox, or Alicia Fox versus Natalya, or all this other shit that they put on TV. Off more. That's obviously somebody knows how to do divas correctly. And a lot of people say, well, it's most likely Vince who's screwing it up because NXT is Triple H's thing, and it's Triple H only. Now, granted, I don't know if the writers are the same or what happens there, but it just pisses me off that NXT can do something so right, and then have them come out on, have it come out on one of the big shows and do something so wrong. And I say that a lot about NXT because NXT just is so good. So Alicia Fox loses, does her freak out shit. I don't care anymore. It's just, I don't know. Nothing comes of it. That's the thing. It's just nothing comes of all this freak out psycho babble. So when something actually comes of it, then I'll be interested. We got Santino and Emma. Bo comes out. Does his normal stuff like the I'm winning after a quick move win exchange, which again I do love. Yep, Bo hits the running Bodog and gets the pin. So it wasn't a tag match with Emma and Santino. It was just Santino, Emma coming to the ring. Bo gets on the mic and tells Emma not to think of Santino as a loser because he did his best, and to be a winner in life, all you have to do is Bo leave. Gotta love Bo leaving. It's great. Renee Orton interviews the Big Show. Basically says, I don't like bullies. And he doesn't like bullies, basically. So that's kind of his thing. Brian Saxton interviews Randy Orton. Orton responded by saying something crazy things happen that you wouldn't expect. Just ask Dean Ambrose, basically being heel. Big Show versus Orton in the main event. God, I can't read. Sickness, health, death. Orton comes out with Triple H, but using his own music. Rollins not with them. Orton in control for most of the match thanks to an assist from Triple H. Show makes his comeback with a spear and was setting up for the knockout punch. When Triple H got on the apron, Big Show had both Orton and Triple H by the throat. Rollins comes to make the save. Orton hits the TKO. Triple H grabs the chair and curb stomp hits the curb stomp twice on Big Show to end the show. Both. Yeah. So that's the week in wrestling. It's been rough. Like I said, Payback was good. Raw sucked except for the ending, which was heartbreaking, and then SmackDown was SmackDown. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. Waiting for the Shield's response. I expected the Shield's response on SmackDown, but I guess they're going to make us wait for Monday to do that. I kind of like maybe seeing the Big Show hopefully get involved. But, yeah, so now we look forward to Money in the Bank. So, yeah, and I apologize for this video coming out late, and I apologize for everything. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm sick. Thank you guys very much for listening. Watch everything else we got on the Player Code channel. Watch Dogs 2 days a week. Check it out. So, yeah, thank you guys again, and I will catch you guys next time.